Welcome back to Posse Adventures. In this episode we're going to be talking to the new caravanner, the person that has either ordered a van, not got it yet, or has just recently bought a caravan, just to pass on maybe some of our experience in the years that we've been doing this, as to what you may need that may not be included in your purchase of your new van. So stick with us and roll intro. So in this episode we're going to go through things that new caravan owners will find either useful or essential. Things that generally, not always, but generally you won't get as part of a new van. So let's get stuck in. There are altogether, I've got 17 points here, things that we've just thought about and we definitely feel that you guys should know. So first one, what will you need? Okay, a water hose. This is to fill your water tanks, and also wastewater hoses with a cam lock system. This is an adapter that I've got set up, and basically this will screw straight onto my waste outlet, and you can see on the bottom here there's what we call a cam lock, and the idea of this cam lock is on the end of your pipe you'll get one of these, and what you do where your outlet is, it just literally pushes on like so. Let's get this right. It pushes on like so, and then you pull these arms back and it gives you a nice tight waterproof seal. There we go, like so. That's not going anywhere and it won't leak, and it's a very quick way of attaching this pipe to your system like that. Number two, what we got, darling?
An inline water filler with brass fittings. Plastic ones break too easily.
Okay, so that's an inline water filter. So the idea of that is so that when you fill your water tanks up, and this is just a cheap Bunnings one, Stefani one. They're not expensive in Bunnings, but they do come with crap plastic fittings on the end. Now the problem you'll have with those, and I can tell you 100% because I've got two of these filters now, because I broke one, but luckily I didn't throw the filter away, and it was only about a week old. When you put on your water pipe like so, and you're filling, if you drop it and it lands and hits the actual end of it, the plastic ones will shear straight off. And unfortunately it happens all too easily. You can be filling up your tank and this can just get knocked and fall on the ground. Yeah, if you go onto eBay you can buy these fittings as brass. They just unscrew, so you can move them and replace them. When you replace your filter you just put them on and throw away the ones they come with because they're crap. So get yourself a filter so that when you're filling your van up you're filtering the water going in, and get yourself some brass fittings so that the fittings don't get broken while you're on a trip, because if they do you're putting unfiltered water in your tanks. Now that in itself might not be a huge issue for you. You're not planning on drinking the water, or you might even have a filter like we do inside the van for your tap water. But if you put any muck in that van, in the water, it will get into your pump and cause havoc there, and that's exactly what happened to us. So it just takes one little pinprick of muck in that water to get into your water tank and then pass into the filter, and you can have problems. So decent water filter and decent fittings on the end of it.
The third thing is to have a decent bag for your hoses.
You can be clever with this. This is our bag. It's nice and big. A lot of the time the ones you get in the caravan shops are just the drawstring bags, and to be honest you don't get as many hoses in them as you can in this. I've got two hoses, supply hoses, because you never know how far from the water tap you are. I've got two filters in here as well, and it's a good strong quality bag with drainage on the side. And the other thing I have attached is this key, which is an anti-tamper tap key, to be able to get water from taps that have got an anti-tamper fitting on them. So that's the bag. Now you can be clever with this one, and I would say the Navigator bag's a really good quality bag, but keep an eye on Aldi, because this is almost exactly the same bag from Aldi, costs about $40 when it's on special. Has exactly the same layout. You'd even think it may have even come from the same factory. As I say, about half the price.
Yeah. Number 4 is the Awning anti-flap kit with extra curved rafters as required. Include a bag to put it all in to help keep everything tidy and in its place.
That's it. So on this awning we've got an anti-flap kit and 2 rafters. So your anti-flap just goes along, and the idea of this is you do have to drill it out to make it all fit, but you drill it out. You have to put clamps on your sail track for it to hook into, and then what it does, and you can see here, is it actually pinches down the vinyl, clamps it down, preventing it from being able to flap around. And that's the same both ends. There you see. Curved rafters. They're fitted at the same time as fitting your anti-flap, the rest of your anti-flap kit. And there's really no need to get anyone to fit these for you. They are the sort of thing you can do yourself. We have got a video which I will post up the top here on fitting one on a friend of ours Malibu caravan. So on our awning on this van, this is a 22-foot van, so it is a reasonably large awning. We've got the anti-flap kit, ours is our Aussie Traveller one, and 2 curved rafters. And it enables us pretty much, and there's only a couple of times that we've ever brought the awning in, pretty much when we get to site the awning comes out, and you can hear now it's flapping around because the wind's up. It comes out, we peg it out, and we forget about it. It's only been in really extreme weather, and people ask us, oh, how bad can your awning stay? When does it need to be put away? And you'll know when it gets to the stage that you need to bring your awning in. You'll just know, because the whole van will be shaking. It'll be extreme, won't it?
Yeah.
It won't be, oh, it's a little bit breezy. It'll be quite bad. Now the bag that we bought, again, this is an eBay special, is just this one here. All of, oh, let's open it up, flip the top back. So it's just got a few pockets in it, and all of your anti-flap and rafters go in there, folds over, and it just keeps it all in one place, neat and tidy. And if anything, like any of the screws that hold it all together, if they fall out, they're going to be in the bag. Whereas if you've got it all laying loose in your van, in your tunnel boot, and any of those screws or fittings fall out, you're going to be pulling your entire tunnel boot out and hoping that those fittings haven't fallen out, because they're an absolute pig to get hold of when you're out travelling.
Number 5, awning tie down points and decent guy ropes and pegs.
Okay, so I'll show you what we've got on this van right now. So these are the type of awning tie downs that we use, and these ones wrap around the drum, hook into the back of the drum, just round back here. And the idea with these ones, obviously they give you somewhere to hook your drum down, but they also rotate the drum to keep tension on the actual vinyl, which is good. It stops it from bagging up and flapping around. So they actually enable you to tighten it right down and get a nice taut cover across the top, as you see mine. And it's a fairly windy day today. Now the guy ropes that we use are just, these are just BCF ones. They have a spring on the bottom, And we carry a selection of pegs. Today we're using sand pegs in the ground because the ground here is actually reasonably soft, and the normal screwing pegs that we'd normally use would pull out with the wind that we've had. So these, just to ensure that the awning stays put, I've whacked in some sand pegs. The same both ends. There you have a good look at it, at the way it works. So what's important with the pegs is that you have pegs to cover every eventuality. So I carry sand pegs and I carry the screw in the ground type pegs.
Yeah.
So really that covers, if it's soft ground I use a sand peg, and if it's a fairly firm ground I can just gun them into the ground. Get your awning tied down nice and taut, and if you're expecting it to be windy, it's always good to set your awning up in what we call a carport style, which is disconnecting your legs from the bottom of the van, bringing them forward and putting a couple of pegs in the legs, pulling them down hard onto the ground. Right now we've got ours set up in a normal traditional awning style with the arms coming back to the van, because the weather here has not, although it's been breezy, it hasn't been excessively breezy. We had a small flurry through yesterday, didn't we, where it was getting a bit extreme, but other than that it's been fine.
Okay, number 6, a decent battery powered screwdriver to install pegs and also wind down legs quicker, not an impact driver.
That's it. Okay, so in my kit I carry 2 guns. The first one I'm going to go through is the one that I use for winding my legs down. Now this gun, this is a screwdriver, okay? It has a clutch on the end of it that enables you to set it. You can see, I can hold that there. You can set the torque anywhere you want. Now the advantage of this gun is, first of all, it's small. This is set up with the socket to enable me to run the legs down, and I can set this up so pretty much as soon as the legs hit the ground and have some tension on them, this will cut out. It's a good quality one, being snap-on. I know it's not going to break any of my roll pins on the legs, or any of the teeth on the ratcheting system that wind your legs down. And it is important that you get yourself a gun that has a clutch if you're going to use it to run your legs down. Do not use an impact gun. Over time an impact gun will most certainly cause damage. This won't. So that's why I carry that gun.
And also a little note that the legs are there to stabilise the van, not to jack it up.
Which is a good point. So you shouldn't be lifting your van, it's just there to stop the rock. It's not to level your van. Your ramps are for levelling the van. Now this one I use, and you can see it's got a different socket on it. This is for my pegs, and that's all it gets used for, just putting my pegs in and out. It doesn't get used for any other thing than that. So these sockets, they stay on the relevant guns. This one is an impact. This doesn't have a clutch, so this will gun in one of our steel pegs, which are these.
It's got the
It fits on the end. Oh, it fits on the end. And this will gun them into some pretty firm ground without any problems. And once they're in, they're not coming out without using this gun. In actual fact, on occasion I've actually snapped these off where they've gone through roots. This gun has managed to put them right through a root of a tree, and when I've gone to remove them, the peg has actually snapped down in the ground, and I've not managed to get it out, it's just broken. So that shows you how much power there is on that, which is why you wouldn't use it to do your legs. Okay?
Okay, so number 7 is a good quality mat to put under your awning.
Okay, we have, I don't know what brand ours is. We just have one of the ones, the mesh type ones.
It's cushioned.
It's cushioned, yeah. It's like made out of recycled PVC or plastic. They're not cheap. Ours is big enough to fit the entire length of the van. And on muddy or sandy soils, it's imperative that you have one of those, because it just stops you getting it all on your feet.
Especially if you've got dogs.
When we bring the dogs, they're long-coated dogs, so stops them picking up all the grass and grass seeds and everything else. Right now we're away without the dogs. We've chosen not to use it, but yeah, important to get yourself a mat.
Okay, Number 8, a diesel heater, especially if you're located in the south of Australia.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that lives in the southern states of Australia, so Victoria, South Australia, probably even southern WA, will know that in the winter it can get cold, and if you want to be able to use your van all year round, a decent diesel heater would be the way to go. Now, I wouldn't condone spending $2,000 on a European Wabasco or ice
singing
barker.
or dancing.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the money to do it, and money's no object, go for it. But cheap Chinese diesel heaters, they do the job. I've had 2 now. This one has been a bit problematic, I will say. We've had a few issues with it, but all of the fixes have been very cheap, and getting spare parts for it very easy. So I would say to you, choose your location, spend more time working out where to put the diesel heater and how you're going to do it, than to worry too much about the brand of diesel heater you go for. They're all reasonably good and reasonably reliable. And to be fair, if you're spending $130, $140 on a diesel heater and it lasts you 3 or 4 years, and then you have to replace it, it's not a huge outlay. I know as many people that have spent out a lot of money on $2,000 diesel heaters and had just as many problems with them as people that have had Chinese diesel heaters as well. So
Number 9, the water filter on your tank for your drinking water. It saves carrying lots of extra spare drinking water, which saves you weight.
yeah, so this is something we only did recently, and we did do a video for it, and I'll post a link up the top here, or it could be that side.
No, it could be down
Either
there.
way, anyway, it could be down here. But yeah, we bought the recent caravan and camping show. We bought a dual stage filter for under our sink, and that enables me to put just about any water in the van and be able to drink it. Now the advantage with that is you're already carrying, I mean, we've got 2 water tanks, so let's say 200 kilos of water. You don't need to add to that by bringing drinking water as well. The only drinking water we ever bring is sparkling water, isn't it? Occasionally we like sparkling water, so we'll bring a few bottles of that, but we don't bring anything else. All the water that we drink can now come straight out of the van, regardless of where it's come from.
Number 10, stone stomper. If you're planning any unsealed roads along with extra mud flaps and pool noodles, protection to the water pipes. If you have plastic drain taps to your tanks, swap them with metal ones.
Okay, so just to go through what Tiny was struggling to get out there. So yeah, if you're planning on doing any graded unsealed roads, you need to get you some sort of protection for the front of your caravan. Now, I can only speak for Stone Stomper because that's all we've used,
Yeah.
but Stone Stomper is exceptionally good, does a very good job. We have fitted extra mud flaps to the front of our van as well, just along underneath the very front edge, which stop travelling rocks, because of course the Stone Stomper only stops rocks from hitting the top of the van. It doesn't stop rocks travelling under the van. So you're still going to get the same amount of rocks travelling under the van. So a set of mud flaps across the front of your van just to slow those rocks down, or stop them from hitting the bottom of the van. And then going under the van, I've gone through and as much of the plumbing as I can, I have covered in pool noodles and zip tied it all up. I've removed the plastic drain taps off of the bottom of the water tanks and replaced them with metal stopcocks.
Number 11, muck mat, grub rug, etc.
Okay.
Normal rubber mats can ruin your vinyl flooring, leaving yellow stains. No one likes yellow stains.
No. So yeah, I mean basically there's 2 products which spring to mind, and there may be more. You've got the muck mats and you've got the grub rugs, both pretty much exactly the same. So these are the bits of matting that look very much like fake grass,
Yeah.
basically, and they do a very good job of holding the crap in the rug rather than dragging it into the van. So that, along with your mat underneath the van, does quite a good job of stopping dragging in all that sand and gravel into your caravan and destroying your van. Resist the temptation to buy yourself a normal doormat, because a lot of those are rubber backed, and although they are fine on the outside of your van, so if you're going to chuck them on the outside of your van and put them on the floor to walk into the van, absolutely fine. But if you're putting them inside your van, the rubber backing can actually react when they get hot with the vinyl flooring and leave yellow stains, and you won't be able to remove it. So yeah, I would err on the side of caution with those.
Okay, 12. Steps to get in the van. Get a strong set which folds as small as possible and can be as light as possible.
Now we made an error with this, but we bought our first set of steps from for the camper trailer.
Yeah, we had them.
Yeah, so we bought a set of steps for the camper trailer because the bed on the camper trailer was so high that you needed to get steps to get into the bed. And to be honest, when we bought this van, they were always a pain because they didn't fold up very flat. They were quite heavy. They were quite cumbersome. They weren't even that stable to stand on. When you stood on, they kind of
flex.
Yeah, they flexed, and they weren't great. So we were in Bunnings recently, and we saw these. Now these are great because a couple of things I really like. They've got the anti-slip coating on them. These bits in the middle here, these bits, they glow in the dark, so when you come out at night you can actually see these glowing, so you can see where to put your foot if you haven't got your light on. And these fold up very easily and a lot smaller. There you go, that folds to that kind of flatness, and it just slides in the tunnel boot, and it's also very stable. And I think these were cheap, aren't they?
I can't remember.
They were
maybe about $50 or something.
I don't think they were even that.
Weren't they?
I don't think they were even that. I think these were on special when we bought them, and I'm going to say $30. But yeah, these are definitely a good caravan step.
Number 13 is a lightweight 3-step ladder for putting an anti-flap kit up for bigger vans.
Yeah, so our van's tall, and there's not a chance in hell, unless you're 6'7", that you're going to reach the top of the van to clamp off your anti-flap kit. Now if you had a pop top, it's not really a problem, but this van, it's a tall van. Any off-road van's probably going to be the same. So people that have this type of van and are using an anti-flap kit will need one of these. Now it may seem extreme to carry a ladder this size with you. It's a 3-step ladder.
Ever so light though.
It's alloy, and I believe it weighs
something like 4 kilos.
Yeah, I'm going to say maybe 4 or 5 kilos. It really is very, very light. Now this is a company called Rubbermaid up there, and this came from Costco.
14 is the power supply cable with amphibian or RVD safe lead.
So that's your power lead to plug into shore power. So when you go to a caravan park and you're going to be plugging that into shore power, you're going to need the lead, which usually will be a 15 amp lead. So usually 15 amp at both ends, and that will enable you to run your air conditioning, hot water service and a fridge through your power lead. Now if you're going to be plugging your van in at home, you're going to need to get yourself an amphibian, which converts the 15 amp from the caravan to a 10 amp wall socket on your house, and that will have an RCD built in as well, just to protect you from, if there's a problem, that it'll trip out. If you're planning on using a generator, or you're planning on using like we do, a battery bank like an EcoFlow, then you should really look into an RVD lead as well. And there's a company online called RVD Safe. You can have that lead tailored so it's 10 amp at one end and 15 amp at the other, and it has an RVD built in, which is similar to an RCD, but it's residual voltage device, I believe it stands for. And what it does is it protects an isolated supply. So when your supply is isolated, like if it's a generator or a high output battery, you don't have an earth. And the last thing you need if you have a problem within your van is for you to become the earth when you touch the door handle. So that's what the RVD Safe is to do. Unfortunately, your standard amphibian doesn't provide you with that protection because there's no earth. Okay.
Number 15 is to have decent, lightweight, strong, comfortable chairs and tables. Don't waste your money on rubbish. Buy right the first time.
Yeah. Now, we wasted our money, didn't we?
Yeah, a lot.
We bought several chairs, and although some of those chairs we still got, we bought some dune chairs that were great from Anaconda. They were great chairs, but they're so heavy. Reclining chairs, and occasionally we still take them if we're going somewhere.
Well, we know we're going to be away for like a long time.
Yeah, if we're going away for a while, we'll try and work our weights to be able to carry them, but they are very heavy and they take up a lot of room because they don't fold into small bags. The reason we bought those chairs, and I'm not going to name the brand that we bought, but we bought some chairs, or we got some chairs that were from a very well-known brand that we were going to take on our first trip. And if you want to find out what brand these chairs were, watch the video because we talk about it in the video. But anyway, we bought these chairs, or we got these chairs, and I think it was the first time the first time I sat in one.
Didn't we win them?
Yeah, well, we got them through. It was a raffle that we won them from. But anyway, the first time I sat in them, I literally sat in the chair, leant forward to pick something up, and I heard a rip underneath the chair, and I thought, oh, eh? And I looked, and the stitching had gone all the way from the corner, all the way back under the chair. So we contacted the company, and they supplied us 2 new chairs, didn't they? No quibble. Well, the next time, and these chairs were rated at 140 kilos. Now, I may be heavy, but I'm not 140 kilos.
Not quite that much.
So anyway, they replaced these 2 chairs, and we took them away to Queensland. And we'd used them a couple of times. We were away for 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah, about that.
And we'd used them a couple of times. I think we'd got to...
We were up north.
Yeah, we got to far north Queensland, hadn't we, pretty much. And I was sitting in the chair one night around the campfire, we were sitting down having some drinks, and I went like this to move, and there was this tear, and I thought, oh, you're kidding me. Flipped the chair over, torn in exactly the same place. Now, on closer inspection, and these weren't cheap chairs, these weren't your cheap $10 Bunnings chairs.
I think they sell retail at like $180 each or something.
Yeah, they were quite expensive. Anyway, on closer inspection, looking at the stitch and how the chair was made, there was loose threads hanging off them everywhere and bad stitching, not tied off. And so, out of desperation, we went and bought the dune chairs, didn't we? And we went the other way. We wanted something that was big and strong, so we bought big and strong. But unfortunately, we also bought heavy as well. Well, we used those for a while, but they were always a problem, weren't they? Wherever we put them, if we put them under the bed, they took up all the space. If we put them on the bed, they were heavy to carry through the van. If we put them in the back of the car, they took up a lot of space. Yeah. And they just generally were cumbersome and awkward. And we spoke with friends, and anyway, we came to these.
Yeah, we went to the Melbourne Caravan show, and they were there on special. Navigator chairs. Yeah,
and our friends had bought them and said that they were really good. And I mean, how old are these chairs now?
They've got to be at least 2 years, maybe.
Oh, more than 2 years.
No, with 2.5 maybe. 2.5.
Yeah, maybe 2.5. Maybe 3. But these get used a lot. We go away a lot in the van.
Yeah.
They get used a lot. They're still in good order. These just your standard Navigator chairs. They've got a cup holder on the side. So I'll just get out of them, and these ones here, so they come in a bag. They've got mud feet on the bottom, so they don't sink into the mud. They take my weight falling into them on a regular basis.
Yeah, Richard doesn't get into a chair with any delicacy at all.
They got wine glass holders on the end, so you can pop your wine glass in there, and they got a cup holder in the side.
You just have to be careful you don't knock it out. I'm quite good at that.
Yeah, because and this one's actually damaged. I think it's got caught on something, but no. So if you're buying, get yourself chairs. We've also got the Navigator table, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's adjustable height.
You can have it as like a bar table, just a normal table.
And I've got to say, we've paid top money for everything we've bought. Or say top money, we've paid the full price for everything we've bought. We haven't had anything donated to us or given to us. Our channel's not that big, but I've got to say, you can't really go far wrong with the Navigator
and we've
stuff.
also got a Navigator caddy, which was gifted to us by friends. We didn't actually.
Yeah, and we've also got the shovel, which is amazing. The little shovel that's so light. So I'd definitely say you can't go far wrong than going to an ARB or wherever they sell Navigator and having a bit of a spend up for stuff there. You won't regret it. The products that Navigator sell are very well thought out.
Yeah.
The only criticism I'd have of these chairs is sometimes unfolding them.
I think they need a bit of WD-40.
Yeah, I think they would have been a WD-40. They can be quite stiff to open up, but other than that, they're great.
Okay, number 16 is to carry a barbecue or a hot plate with you.
The reason why we think you should have a barbecue or a hot plate is that you may find yourself in an area where you can't have a campfire. Now, we love to cook on a campfire, don't we? But if you can't cook on a campfire, you're then looking at, how you're going to cook your food. We're lucky enough with this van to have a full oven and a hob. But if it's 35-40 degrees, the last thing you want to be doing is lighting that oven in that caravan, because it will get the inside of the van so hot you probably won't be able to stay in there for the night. So you want to be getting yourself either a barbecue or one of those hot plates that you can get that they're like a dish, aren't they, that have the gas canister goes on the side. Some of our friends have that and they cook all of their breakfast and everything else in that. But certainly a barbecue of some description.
Yeah. And also, I mean, some people may have an outside kitchen, which, you can then cook on the outside kitchen. Yeah. But, for us, we don't. So that's what we feel is important to us.
Yeah, even if the only thing you can get is like a travel hob, or even a gas burner. Anything like that gets you out of the van, so you're not generating heat in the van.
Yeah. Number 17 is kitchenware. Try and make sure that things that you buy have multiple purposes. I have a cheese board, charcuterie board, and I use that as a cheese board, chopping board, carving board, serving board, and anything else in between I can think of.
Yeah, pizza board. We use it for all sorts of things.
And get a plastic jug. Get a plastic jug that has lots of different measurements on it, so it saves you having to bring like additional cups if you're doing any baking. Not that I try not to do baking when I'm away, but sometimes I do if I'm in the mood. And we have a silicone spatula rather than a wooden spoon. It doesn't really save any weight, but it does a better job than a wooden spoon.
Saves carrying two.
Yeah.
So I mean, the advantage with the silicone spatula is if you're scraping out a saucepan, it gets everything out, whereas a wooden spoon doesn't. So, and you can use it for a wooden spoon. It's no different. You can stir stuff with it. It's the same.
And I've added one not to Richard's knowledge, which is having an orange light, or the ability to have an orange light at night for the mozzies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, we've put yellow tape over the lights out here, which help. I mean, when we originally got this van and we went to Queensland, it was horrendous, wasn't it? The first time we switched it on, it was like incoming. These moths were hitting us in the face all night. So all we did was get some yellow tape and tape over the lights, just to give it that amber effect. But actually, we probably should have gone for amber tape, orange, rather than yellow. But it still is better than the white light that was there before.
And if you're in the process of getting your van built, it would be worthwhile having that discussion with the builder of your van to see if it's something that can be incorporated into the build, so that you can have the changing light between white and orange.
Yeah.
And that way, it does reduce the amount of bugs that you get over night time.
And if you can't, then just have orange, because
So we've got the Aussie wave going on.
yeah, we've got
Flies
flies.
have woken up.
If you can't, then just get orange lights, because you'll use the orange light a lot more than you'll use the white light. Trust us on this.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. That's
It
everything
is.
on our list.
So, and these are just things that we found to be important to us when we bought the van. So anyone, and this isn't trying to teach you to suck eggs, this is the people out there that are new to caravanning, that have bought or are buying a new van, that have little to no experience, the sort of things that, you know, we can class ourselves now as seasoned campers, that someone that's been there, done it and made the mistakes, just trying to pass on the information that we've learned along the way. Any comments that you want to drop, please put them at the bottom.
Yeah, definitely.
Always good to hear what you guys find important to you, and this is by no means everything you're going to need. There's going to be a lot more down the track.
Yeah, definitely.
It's an ongoing thing when you're caravanning.
It's a bit like owning a house.
Yeah,
There's always something else you need or think you want for your house, and the caravan's no different.
yeah. So if you've enjoyed the content that we've put out today, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, it really does help us. We're heading towards that 1,000 subscribers
We're getting
now,
there ever so slowly.
but it's very slow. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, please just take the time to subscribe. It costs nothing.
Hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of new content when we release it.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe.
Take it easy, guys. Bye.
See ya.